Welcome back, everyone. In this week's video, I'm going to break down one of the setups from my One Light Lighting Handbook. If you want to check it out, just head on over to johngress.com/lighting handbooks. This digital download covers 23 different One Light setups. And if you're interested in taking things to the next level, I also have a multiple light lighting handbook as well. So just go ahead and check those out at johngress.com/lighting handbooks. So I was teaching a workshop in Boston, and one of the attendees said to me, could we do a silhouette look with the model and profile in front of a black backdrop? And I looked around the room for all the things that I had that would be suitable for a black backdrop. And the only thing that I had that would work is a V-flat from V-flat World. And the fact that it's from V-flat World will be important in a second, but let's not worry about that right now. So I decided that that was going to be my background. Then I started thinking about what the lighting was going to be. Well, at the time, we were already doing a high-key look with Akshay, the model, in front of a Elinchrom 190 centimeter or 74.5 inch, 74, 75 inches, depending on who's got it listed, Octa box. And so I decided that the most efficient way that I could accomplish this look was just to take the V-flat, fold it in half, and lean it up against the Octa box. And then part of the white surface of the Octa box would still be visible on the two sides and the top. And then that would allow me to have that light sort of wrap around, or I guess if from your perspective as the photographer, wrap around the V-flat and then envelop the model. And so that was the general idea and direction that I was going in. I've actually done this look 7 times, or at least 7 times, over the years as I've been teaching workshops. So at the end of the video, I'm also going to let you know some alternatives that you could use in addition to the 190 centimeter Octa and V-flat World V-flat in order to get this look accomplished. You don't need to have the exact gear, and we'll go over that a little later. So the first thing that I noticed when I had Akshay standing there was that I could have total control of the brightness of the light that was coming from left and right just by moving him left and right. The closer he got to the surface, the brighter the edge of the V-flat, the brighter that light became. So I could control where that brightness was coming from. The other thing, the intensity of that brightness. The other thing that I noticed right away was that I could control the intensity of the light on top of his hair just by moving the Octa box up and down and exposing more of that surface at the top or less of that surface at the top. Essentially, what I was getting was the look of 3 strip lights with just using one light. And it worked out, I think it worked out pretty well. So I started off by having Akshay turn to his right. And because I'm always looking for light on both eyes or catch lights in both eyes and sort of chasing Rembrandt lighting, if you will, I decided that I would have Akshay turn his head a little to the right, and then that meant that I would have to step a little to my left. And so by doing that, I was able to position his head so that the light from the Octa box would wrap around his face and light up both of his eyes. So me being off center from the V-flat and him turning a little bit was really key to getting the look. And as you noticed, all of the samples that I showed you today were photos of shirtless men, and this is a really great lighting technique for showing off the sculpted body and their chiseled physique, if you will, but it doesn't really matter that they are shirtless. They could be wearing a shirt. We could get a nice moody portrait. They could stand there with their hand under their chin, something like that, looking very pensive. That would work out fine. So the fact that they are shirtless was just sort of the motif that I started going with for this look, but you don't have to do that if you're doing this sort of lighting, and you don't have to do it with a male model either. Now, one of the key things that you want to look out for is their eye line. If they're looking too far to the side that's closest to the Octa box, you're possibly going to get a really weird catch light like you see here in this image. And if they look too far towards the camera side, then you're going to lose the catch light in that eye that's closest to the camera. So if you position yourself just right and have them turn their head just right, then you'll end up getting the right look. Now I have sort of a confession to make. That very first image with Akshay was indeed with one light. But over the years, as I did this look in different places and I used full-size V-flats instead of the ones from V-flat world, I had to sort of mix things up and add a second light sometimes. So V-flat world V-flats are 39 inches or 1 meter in diameter. And so that's really important because when you put that in front of the 190 centimeter or 6-foot Octabox, you end up roughly with about 45 centimeters on each side, somewhere around 18 inches, give or take. I don't think that's actually quite true. I think the measurements might be off, not my measurements, but the measurements of the Octa. I'm not exactly sure, but just know that that amount of white surface, it turns out that it matters. Because when I use a regular V-flat that's 2.4 meters by 2.4 meters or 4 by 8 feet, and I lean that up against the 190 or 75 inch Octabox, I found that it covered up too much of the white surface and not enough of it wrapped around. And so in those instances, I had to add a strip light to the side in order to augment the look. The other thing that I discovered is if I took that same V-flat from V-flat world and I put it in front of a 5-foot Octabox, then it also covered up too much of the white surface and I had to add a strip softbox then as well and sort of position the V-flat so that it was all the way to one side of the Octa and then the side that didn't have any white surface visible over there, then I put the strip box on that side. So that's the way that I got around it as I did it in several different places. So if you don't have a 190 centimeter Octabox and a V-flat world V-flat, that's fine. Just use anything that you have that's black and big enough to put a person in front of, and then use whatever you need to in order to get, let's say, 30 centimeters or 1 foot of white surface on each side. So that could be something like a 7-foot umbrella with the diffusion cover. It could be maybe two square rectangular softboxes next to each other back there. It could just be that you put a strip box on each side in order to get the look. So there's a lot of ways that you could do it without having the exact gear, and that's fine. Now, some of the things that I found out, or one of the neat little tricks that I found when I was doing this look in Washington, D.C. at my friend Donna Maria's studio during a workshop there, was that I actually found that I needed to add a little highlight on the back of Chris's leg in order to have his full pose sort of stand out in front of the black background. And so what I did was I took a strip box and I placed it low on camera left so that it would light up his legs, and that further sort of silhouetted him and made him stand out really well. Now, what if we don't have a V-flat at all? That's fine. We can take it away and we can just use the Octabox as our background. And that's exactly what I did here with this look with Justin. You really can get a really cool look using a softbox as a background, and in this case, augmented with a second strip box off to the side. You know, lighting is all about finding solutions and having fun and experimenting. So I really would encourage you to get out there and shoot as much as you can and practice as much as you can, because that's the way that you get better. Another great way to get better is to attend one of my lighting workshops. I'll be teaching workshops all over the US this year, and if you want to find out more information, just go to johngress.com/workshops. One of the great things about attending a workshop in person is that you can see the lighting from every angle, you can get images from your portfolio, and you can ask me in real time for clarification so that you can, be sure that you're learning the information. And that's what I strive to do every time that I'm teaching in person, is I'm trying to make sure that the class gets that information so that they can take that info home and try it out and know exactly what to do. If you can't attend one of my workshops, I also have an exclusive members-only platform, the Academy with John Gress. And on the Academy, you'll get access to longer format tutorials than what you'll find here on YouTube. And you'll be able to watch me shoot almost in real time from multiple angles. Also, Academy members get to participate in 2 live Q&A and critique sessions every month, where you can ask me anything that you need to know, and I also can critique your work anonymously. So for more information, just go to johngress.com/academy. I think that about wraps it up. If you want to watch a video that YouTube thinks you'll love, just click on this one up here. And if you want to learn more about my One Light Lighting Handbook, you can click on this one up here. Thank you so much for your time. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.